Hey everyone, it's Johnny from Hot Tech Hockey back with another video. This video is going to be my bracket challenge, a little bit of a different location here. So I'm going to do this kind of in a different way than I've done it in previous years. So I'm going to do kind of one where I'm thinking about the possibilities, upsets, but thinking about which teams are hot, thinking about kind of just using my head overall. But then I'm going to do a different bracket challenge video, have some fun, and kind of go over maybe some of the teams and things I want to see with my heart a little bit more. So this one's going to be more kind of the thought process, give you guys my reasoning. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome. I'll do a bracket challenge league or thing for the channel so you guys can join. But let's go through it. So I'll start on the left side. You guys give me your thoughts, of course, and you can rip me a little bit. But again, I feel like every year fans should just learn that I wouldn't talk too much until things happen. Because whether it was back when I picked the Jets in 7 over the Oilers get swept. Whether I picked the Hurricanes in 5 against the Rangers, sweet. Like, just sometimes, if you're a fan of a team and you're confident, great. But don't be ripping on people for their takes, because you got to wait to see what happens. Then you're looking like a fool if shit turns sideways. So, all right, let's start with Colorado, Nashville. I'm going to go the Avalanche. Nashville, tough way to end the year, blowing that lead against Arizona and getting Colorado as a matchup. I just think the Saros injury and just all things considered, this would be the biggest choke I've seen in a very long. Like, here's the thing: if Colorado loses to Nashville in these circumstances and it's a bad series, like that's like level of like Columbus beating Tampa bad. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna take Colorado though. I am gonna take Minnesota over the Blues. I think both teams are just so hot right now, and St. Louis, a couple rough games there, but it's still just a crazy record. And Minnie's looking like they got size, like they've got everything going, and I got to take my guy Fleury if he's the guy going into the series and into the big game. So a wild Avalanche second round matchup would be nuts. Again, I could see the Blues winning the series, but I just, the goaltending for me with the Blues is still a question mark there. Calgary, Dallas, I am going to take the Flames. It's one of those things, I don't have an upset so far on the west side, but Sutter, the coach, and I just think how the Flames are built. Markstrom would really have to choke bad for the Stars to take a real advantage here. But I do think the series is going to be close. I guess I haven't done a number of games here. But Colorado over Nashville, I'll say 5 or 6. Minnesota 7 over the Blues. Calgary 6 over Dallas. And I'm going to take Edmonton. I mean, I'm saying that's a 7-game series over the Kings. So there you go. Allows you to pick now. So Avalanche over Preds. If Saros isn't playing, I'm doing 5. Flames over Stars, I'll go 6. Well, yeah, as I said, Wild in 7 and Oilers in 7. So that's kind of how I see it going. But again, things are wild in the playoffs, and it would give us a Battle of Alberta matchup in the second round, which would be nuts. Florida, Washington. All right, here's where shit goes nuts here, and hey, people are going to come at me, but there's going to be an upset, guys. There's going to be, right? I mean, between Colorado, Calgary, Florida, the chances of one of those teams getting an upset is just like, for me, they're high. So I'm going Washington. I mean, again, call me crazy, and Florida's been so hot going into the playoffs, but I just think things seem to be too good to be true right now with Florida. And I think Washington, people are just overlooking the fact that they could still do something in the playoffs. I mean, yeah, you know what? They lost in the rough series to Boston, and I think a lot of their guys are getting older. But to me, Washington, the only thing they're missing here is a goaltender. If Samsonov or Vanacek, one of those guys can get going, Florida's got the advantage. On paper, I mean, this is one of those, like, you just get a feeling, and I could be totally wrong. Watch Florida sweep Washington, and I'm looking like a dummy. But I just think one of the upsets are going to happen, and I just don't see Nashville doing it over Colorado without Saros, and I just don't see Dallas doing it to Calgary with Sutter in the system he's got going. So I could be wrong. I totally could be wrong, but I'm going to take the upset there. I am going to take Tampa over Toronto. Here's the thing, guys. Would love to see, I mean, you know where I'm at. I want to see the Leafs do something, but I just think everything points towards Tampa in terms of Vasilevsky, in terms of what they've got going. I just don't think they're going to be an easy out at all. I think the series will go to 7. I think Toronto's got a shot, but Stammer at home. But I do think the ceiling for Toronto to do something, if they beat Tampa, I'll say this. I think, and I mean, we've seen it with Toronto a couple times, whether it was 2019 against Boston, last year against Montreal. I think whoever comes out of this Toronto-Tampa matchup will go at least to the conference finals, maybe even to the cup final. I strongly believe that. I think whoever comes out of Toronto-Tampa goes very far. So we'll see what happens. Again, if Florida got upset, that would create a path, right? Boston over Carolina. Again, the concerns of, is Anderson healthy? What's going on there? Boston's had Carolina's number. I could see Carolina finally switching switching things up and finally beating Boston. But I'm going to stick with Boston. What I've seen in the playoffs for them, and both teams, I guess, have a goaltending question mark in terms of Boston. Will they go Allmark over Swayman? And then Carolina, like I said, is Freddie healthy? But I am going to take Rangers over Penguins. For me, I think the difference is like, who knows what's going to happen with Jari? Again, that's another one. Is like, I think DeSmith's been good, but I'm taking Shesterkin in this series. I just am. I mean, Rangers have been really good. They've been hot. I think I have to rely on Shesterkin. If he shows up, the Rangers are in a good spot. So I'll go Caps over Panthers in 7. That's a big upset. I'll go Lightning over Leafs in 7. It'd be nightmares if Stammer went to Scotiabank Arena and lit it up. Rangers over Penguins in 6, and I'll go Bruins over Hurricanes in 6. Again, these are predictions, guys. I'll probably be way off, but I'm making my takes. All right, so let's stay on the east side here. I'm going to go Tampa over Washington. I could see that going like 5-6 games. I think Washington would have a lot of momentum out of Florida, but I think Tampa's winning that if that's the matchup. And then Boston Rangers, I'm gonna keep going on the Shesterkin train here. If Shesterkin's lighting it up, if he's playing well, I think the Rangers could do something. But again, it really depends on matchup, and obviously it's hard to predict if one of the Bruins goalies will step up. So Rangers Lightning conference finals, that would be nuts. And another bombshell. Like I'm gonna go with some upsets. I'm gonna go with some crazy shit here. I'm gonna go Wild over Avalanche. I just think the Wild. I've been watching Wild games this year and at home. Like if the Wild can get on a run here and Fleury, I'm putting that kind of faith in Fleury here, and I think the Wild could do something, man. Again, maybe this is the Avalanche year, but I just listening to Biz and just kind of thinking about it too, and listen to other guys. Maybe I shouldn't listen to Biz too much, but I think there's something to be said about how the Wild have been playing towards the end of the year, and the Avalanche peaked maybe a little too early. So I'm going to go Wild over Avs. Hot take for sure, but we're going crazy on this bracket. And I'm going to take the Oilers over the Flames. I'm going to stick by that because I just think this is a year where a lot of people would significantly pick the Flames over the Oilers, and people would count out the Oilers, and the Oilers. I just think between the Oilers or Leafs, one of these two teams, it's enough. Enough's enough. Like both teams, I can't see both teams just continue to choke in the first round. Like both of them, come on. One's got to give. So if it's not the Leafs, it's the Oilers, or vice versa. We'll see. But I think anything can happen in the Battle of Alberta, and Flames fans will get at me, but I think anything can happen. And I'm saying anything can happen, especially in a world where McDavid and Draisaitl exist. So Oilers, Wild, conference final. Lightning, Rangers, conference final. I think that would be a lot of fun. I am going to go Wild, go to the Cup final. I think kind of what I said about matchups. I think if the Wild and Blues have a crazy first-round matchup, I could see one of the Wild or Blues going on a run. I fully could sit here right now and make the case for why the Wild or Blues could go on a run to the Cup final. Obviously, they've faced a team in Colorado, but I think all three of those teams have a real shot at doing something. So I'm putting more of my faith on those top Central teams and going to the Cup final between one of those three, right? So Wild versus the Lightning for a chance to go for the three-peat. I think, when we talk about the Rangers' advantages, yes, we can go through their forward group. We can go, their defenses looked a lot better, but it's Shesterkin, right? And I kept talking about Shesterkin in this bracket, but you're talking about Vasilevsky on the other side. I think if there's one guy that can match up against Shesterkin and potentially beat Shesterkin in a goalie matchup, it's Vasilevsky. So I know people are going to hate me for this, but this is prediction. I'm not saying I want this to happen. I definitely don't. But I'm done. I'm done going against the Lightning, at least for right now in the team they have. And Nick Paul's been buzzing it up. They still have a third line that's significant enough. I'm going to go Lightning, go the three-peat. And I'm sorry, Lightning fans. I really hope I'm wrong here. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want the Lightning to win. But I'm going to go Lightning, Wild, Stanley Cup final. And enter the total goals scored in the series. I don't know. I feel like Vazzy and Fleury, that's quite the matchup. I don't know. I don't know. I always go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'll go 33 goals total in the final series. All right. So, Lightning for the Cup. Give me your thoughts. I don't know. I'm going to make another bracket video for fun with a little bit of my heart in it. Just kind of do things I want to see. Maybe the Leafs go on a run there. But in this scenario, I got the Lightning over the Wild. So subscribe, like, and comment. Give me your thoughts in the comments, as I said. And don't be too harsh, Anything can happen in the playoffs. I think fans should learn this by this point. Any predictions, unless you're being a dummy and just throwing things out that don't even make sense, at the end of the day, I had a buddy that picked Montreal to the Cup final last year, and before that Leafs first round matchup, you probably would have called him a dummy. Well, he finished up high in the standings and had a Montreal-Tampa Cup final, and he wasn't too far off. So you never know. You honestly never know what's going to happen in the playoffs, especially for hockey, and I think that's the fun part about it. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the videos, and all the playoff streams are going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys, have a good one. Peace.